Yeah, I started this comment from Viper Styles from a little bit ago. I knew we would kind of get to this. Hang on, let me pull this down because we don't need that right now. It says, Ewok, can we have your thoughts on RH using Tornado Cash to move the ETH SAC funds? Can you give us a positive and negative breakdown on your thoughts of this move? Well, I think it's all positive, honestly. Nobody needs to know, really. Those funds are not ours. If anything, they are to be used strategically when it's good and ready to use them, or to entice people to try and front run it. The funds may never move, and maybe too many wallet watchers were just having fun thinking that they knew what was going to happen. That kind of takes the advantage away from that entity. So I think it's all positive. I don't really know that there is a negative breakdown, in at least that I can think of. I'm not a real big fan of wallet watchers anyway. It's kind of good to know what's going on, but I am definitely not one to sit there and watch and wait and worry about what somebody else is going to do. I have no control over it. So I don't lose sleep over what they do or don't do. Would it be nice? Yeah, sure. It would be nice, but again, I'm not wasting time, worrying about it. I think it is good though. I think it can be used for multiple different things. It can be used for more marketing. It could be used for purchasing the price. But I don't think any sane person would do that right now when the sellers will sell every little pump that we have. So that's my take on it. Now, what's yours?
Yeah, I agree that it's 100%. Like, there's no way you would pump money into this ecosystem right now. I mean, like, just with the overall status of the market and everything, people are mainly bearish. I would want everybody to just continue to sell as much as they're going to, honestly, here. No, I'm 100% in favor of moving the funds and tornadoing them, if that's what's been done with all of them. I don't know if I think they all did go through Tornado Cash, though. I'm pretty sure. I saw Ren made a comment that he didn't think they were all tornadoed, but I think they were. I think it's definitely good because you don't want people front running moves. I would be annoyed by all these wallet watchers and stuff like that. I mean, most of the time, those people probably are not accurate anyway. Like, I think they like to surmise a lot of things and say things to their followers just to, gain clout or pretend that they have background knowledge of what's going on when they really don't. They're just guessing. But you would absolutely want to put all that stuff behind somewhere else. I mean, I would not want people knowing where it's coming from, where it's going, or anything like that. And I think it's a great move because that way, we've seen so many people. I mean, RH himself even said it, which we'll get into kind of his little reply session, Q&A, whatever you want to call it, that he had on Twitter last week. But he even said himself, he saw like a big whale whenever they came and put a bunch of money, I think it was like $24 million or so, into this ecosystem winter spring of 2024. It just got sold right back down. We saw like PulseX get up to above SAC rate. Actually, I think it might have been double SAC rate at that time. I don't even remember. But we saw all this stuff just get sold right back down. And you're not going to continue to do that under this kind of environment. And I wouldn't want people knowing that it is this guy or that guy or any specific guy, because I don't want them front running my moves or feeling like they can gain a hedge on what it is I'm doing. So I definitely think it's a good idea. I am curious your thoughts on this, because Johnny, actually, speaking of him, brought this up when he was on last. The idea of having an Ethereum treasury as kind of a marketing thing and just showing that you can hold something. You know what I mean? And obviously that is not going to show that anymore. That total amount is no longer in that treasury. I personally could care less, but it was something that was kind of a nice little feather in your cap, but probably not as nice as an ecosystem pumping and you don't know who's buying and what's going on. So
yeah, there's that, definitely. And who knows, that money could all come back into that account and just sit there. Maybe it's used for other things. Maybe it's used to borrow. There's some thoughts out there that there was a big loan made where there was more ETH borrowed. again, no one really knows because the wallets are anonymous at this point. So, but who's to say that that money doesn't kind of round trip and come right back to that Ethereum, whatever yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
So again, that would also go to the point of saying, look, I may have used this to do certain things with, but it's all still here, and maybe even more, so that would be quite interesting as well.
Good comment from Rocket Mob here, because a lot of people take this for granted, but he says, when was the quote, sacrifice funds will be used to pump PulseChain, quote, said, and who said it? Where did this start? Great point. Nobody can pinpoint that. It's been this assumption basically all this time, and that's a great point that we've discussed. We did it with Johnny a couple of weeks ago. That may never be used for that. We have no idea. Like you just said earlier, Ewok, they were sacrificed. You gave them away. You have no idea what it's going to be used for, whether it'll be used. Now, I think you kind of trust in the guy that had commissioned this blockchain and everything, that it'll probably be used for something you'd agree with, whatever that is. Like, it's probably not going to be used to like bomb civilians or something like that, I don't think. But what could it be used for? I don't know. Buying the ecosystem up, holding an Ethereum treasury, marketing. I don't know. I know the meme of no expectations. It's just that, you have an idea that when you buy a stock that might be affiliated with Elon Musk, when you buy a crypto that it might be affiliated with Richard Hart or whatever, you think your values align with this guy, so you think that probably it'll be used for something that you agree with. Right.
I'm going to comment on our friend Wall to Wall here.
I haven't seen him. Welcome back.
He said Richard said it countless times. That's the origin, and that's not really true. Richard has said multiple times, I have many options. I have options available. I have a lot of options available, and it's not just the sacrifice fund. So that is what he said. He never came out and specifically said, I'm going to pump the shit out of this ecosystem. So, I mean, read between the lines, but, the guy has a lot of money, to do multiple things. But, Johnny's right here. The FUD. So here's the thing, good on one hand, bad on the other. The only reason it pumps is because Richard pumped it. Well, okay. Yeah. That's why Tornado Cash was probably used, because prove it, right? Prove that was him doing it. So you have to get reason for retail to get in here and buy it as well. Sometimes it needs a little kickstart. Maybe that's what it's used for, whatever. Again, green candles are a great form of advertisement. Who's to say who's doing it? What, God will could step in again and do something. We don't know. So, yeah, I mean, I completely agree. There's good, there's bad. And, you definitely don't want that stigma around crypto saying the only reason it pumps is because Richard bought it all up. Okay, well, if that's the case this cycle, what's it like next cycle when it becomes even more rare and hard to get? So, there are good and bad things about it, but yeah, I mean, there's always going to be FUD, and no matter what we do, we're still gate kept from Hex 5 years later, almost 6 years now at this point. There's still people talking shit about it. So, I don't know. Some of these things you'll never get rid of. There will always be FUD out there, haters out there that are trying to, put it down because they still don't like Richard. Yeah,
definitely. On the other part of this, so okay, the funds sent out through Tornado Cash, we are aware of that. What's really interesting then, and this is kind of too convenient. Actually, I think it might have been tied to one of the wallets. I'm trying to remember. And I sent you the post. It was that, I don't remember it. It's like a wallet watching type of account, like some large account. It's not PulseChain related.
Zero Hedge?
No. No, he actually, that's kind of just a funny throwaway thing. But
the Look On Chain?
Yeah, Look On Chain. So that was where the Zero Hedge retweet originated from. Basically, Zero Hedge said, did anybody alert the SEC about the suspected Richard Hart wallet moving those funds? And it's like, oh my God, just like the idiocy of that tweet, like not knowing anything of what you're talking about. Like literally the precedent setting only blockchain, only person who has a decision against the SEC in
Right.
favor of their blockchain, which is just funny. But the other one though, so this is really interesting. So this one we have the mysterious whale with 610 million USDC, which just happens to match about the amount of the ETH treasury for PulseChain, borrowed a total of 66,000 ETH, $265 million from Aave, and deposited it into Binance and gave the address. Now, these amounts, it's eerie because it's roughly the same amount as the treasury, but it is USDC. It's not ETH. Now,
Right.
obviously, you could always make that trade. But what do you make of this? First off, is we just criticized wallet watchers. And this person didn't say it's Richard Hart. So, you know, I will say that. They said this mysterious whale. But a lot of people are saying, you know, or intimating that like, oh, what if this is him? That's about the same amount. What could this be for? Do you think this should just be thrown away, or I don't know, do you make anything of this, and if so, what could this be? Because it looks like providing some kind of liquidity or something on Binance. So I'm curious what your thoughts may be on this.
Yeah, I really didn't think anything of it. The ETH was there. Nobody knows that it was traded. As far as we know, it's still in Ethereum. Why it would be done at this point without ETH going up, in fact, going down, it might be in just a little bit of profit, like from when it was the average buy-in price. Norm, I think it's right about the same price, though. It might have been $3,800, and we're at what, 39. So, yeah, I didn't make anything of this. Nobody, you know, there's 610 million USDC. And why would it even go to Binance unless we were getting a listing, which a listing does not cost that much. So I said, I looked through this a little bit. Nothing jumped out at me like obviously him or not him or, yeah. And then the Binance thing. I know Richard has talked massively bad things about Binance and having people that couldn't get their money out of there and had funds that were stuck. Highly doubt that this was him.
Yeah. Okay. Just thought it was interesting, the timing of it and everything, and the amount, you know. I guess it remains to be seen. But, you know, one thing's for sure, to Rocket Mob's point earlier about, like, you know, the assumption that those funds would be used for X, Y, or Z, or to pump the chain or whatever. Again, I think the reason that a lot of us are invested in this ecosystem is because of the cult of personality that Richard is and that he's developed, the products that he's created, and again, investing in somebody that you believe has their values aligned with yours, essentially. So whatever that money is, whatever it's doing, anything like that, I am, you know, and you are, Ewok. I mean, we're placing our bets on this pony. You know what I mean? It's not, we don't have to say it. I mean, our actions are pretty much proving it. So,
Exactly.
Continue to do so. So, any final thoughts on any of those interesting moves?
Yeah. The last thought I have, and you know, we kind of talked about this as well. There will be silly whale games all over the place. They do interesting things like this to make people talk, to make people front run, just to, you know, oh, this person's gonna sell, I'm gonna short it. And then next thing you know, the price goes up and they get liquidated. And then after everyone's liquidated, then it does drop down and everyone's like, oh, well, now it's time to long it. And it goes even further and they get liquidated again. And you're going to see all these crazy, silly whales that are out there playing games and manipulating the market like they always do. Your best bet is honestly sit back, buy a little bit if you can, dollar cost average, and just watch, you know, because you do not want to get mixed in with these whales picking up pennies in front of freight trains, right? You know, it's a bad time when you try to get mixed in with some of the games that they play. You will get run over.
I get why people don't want to buy spot altcoins. Look at how the last 4 years have gone. I mean, it's not fun on the way. You want to be earning yield on it. That was, of course, the big DeFi Ponzi yield was last cycle, 2020 and 2021. And yeah, it's not fun to just sit on an asset that seems like it's going down most of the time. But as you just said, yeah, doing that, throwing it into cold storage or something, forgetting about it and moving on for a little while is usually the right move. It's just paying attention to it every single day. It makes it excruciating. Valiant low key. Yeah, this was very interesting. And I know like this is an eye roll type of thing, but it is just odd that this, I've seen the movie The Game. I know it's Richard Hart's favorite movie, tied with Aliens 3, I think he said, or whatever. The Game actually is my favorite movie by David Fincher, which, I mean, he has a lot of good ones, but it's definitely my favorite. Just the way it's shot and everything, and great acting in it. It's a cool story. But yeah, I didn't remember this. But yeah, there literally is. Why can I not think of the star actor's name in that movie? Somebody in the chat is gonna say it, and I'm kicking myself right now for
never saw it.
Okay, it's you don't watch movies anyway, really, though. So I mean,
not really.
Tell me that much. But put the guy's name in the chat. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name right now. He's in Falling Down. He's Gordon Gekko, if I'm not mistaken, too. I don't know why I can't think of his name. But yeah, Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas. Yeah, there we go. Close Greylock. That's his dad. But yeah, he actually loses like $600 million in that movie. It's quoted in it. Something about $600 million. So just a weird thing. That it happened to be that amount anyway. So yeah. Anyway, that's it. Ewok's not giving me any response on that. So
I got nothing.
Okay, it's a boring movie. I totally disagree. I think the scene whenever he goes back in his house and they're blasting that Jefferson Starship song, the Alice and go ask Alice when she's 10 feet tall. Great scene, weird, scary. I love it. Great movie. I disagree with you. You're wrong, Rand. Put your favorite David Fincher movies in the chat. I would like to hear what you guys think. I mean, he's got at least 8 very good films. I would like to see Emilio Estevez, DJ Moonboy says. Okay, so we can move on from David Fincher, but yeah, throw it in the chat. Like to hear what you guys think. We'll have a movie night one of these sometimes. Ewok won't show up because he's not as much of a movie guy, but